Hi, this is Superintendent of Schools Bill Olson, and I welcome you to the 2018-2019 school year. Our school year began back in the summer when we had a very interesting and engaging and very busy two-day summer institute with all of our administrators. Day one of our summer institute involved a very detailed evacuation plan, simulating a school emergency where we not only talked about school safety issues, procedures, and protocols, but we also did a simulated evacuation from one of our buildings to a rally point that students and staff would go to in the event of a school emergency, and then on to a school evacuation point where students from many of our schools would evacuate to in the event of a school crisis. At that evacuation point, we talked to our administrators about detailed procedures for checking in students, for organizing students by grade level, maintaining accurate attendance so that we know who's there and who's not there in terms of staff and students. We also talked in much detail about the checkout process of students to their families, to one of their parents or legal guardians in the event of an emergency, and the information that will be required from parents to make sure that it is a secure dismissal of a student to a parent. There was a lot of detail, and we went back probably about 3 to 4 months in the springtime when Westford Academy Principal Jim Antonelli, our school safety coordinator Bob Ware from Westford Academy, and also our school resource officer Jeff Pavao met with me on about 5 or 6 occasions where we very strenuously worked on this plan. We put a very long and very detailed PowerPoint presentation together with maps, everything that an administrator and a staff member would need to be able to control a situation in the event of a school emergency. You know, I've said before, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, even 20 years ago, we never had to think about these things, but last year I can tell you about 30% of my school year was spent on school safety issues. On day 2 of our summer institute, Dr. Brian Perlman of the Most Valuable Professional Development Company, Dr. Perlman is co-founder of that company, provided us with a very in-depth discussion and a very interactive discussion about students who exhibit stress, anxiety, depression, and trauma, and how we can effectively work with them and assist them in learning during the school day in school, given those serious issues that sometimes students face. During the summer also, we were very busy with some summer projects. I want to thank the Westford Town Permanent Building Committee, along with the school committee, the finance committee, selectmen, and town voters who approved appropriations for a new Abbott School roof. That project was accomplished on time and beautifully done by Titan Roofing Company, one of the finest roofing projects I've seen in over 30 years of work in our school system and almost 49 years in education. So the roof project is coming to completion. The Westford Academy track replacement is a little bit behind schedule. We have about another 2 or 3 weeks to go before that project is completed. But that will be a very welcome addition to the high school athletic complex. The former track was delaminating after about 20 years of ultraviolet exposure and weather and heavy use. And so we appreciate the appropriation of funds for that project also. And also the day school is in the process of building a new playground. We have a contractor on site. Groundbreaking has just begun, and we anticipate that playground will be ready, I would think, probably around the 2nd week in October. Opening day in late August of this year, before the first day of school, was a big success. We had Dr. Stuart Ablon. He is in the Department of Psychiatry at Massachusetts General Hospital as a well-published author and speaker. In fact, he's one of the most popular speakers in the field of education and mental health in the United States and for that fact, around the world. And Dr. Ablon presented Rethinking Challenging Kids, Where There's a Skill, There's a Way. He presented about 90 minutes, a 90-minute presentation that had us thinking about what the role of discipline is and how discipline should and must change in terms of working with our students, helping them to correct some of the behaviors that sometimes students exist, but in a positive, supportive, collaborative method. He was very well received by our entire staff. In fact, we're bringing him back on September 21st to meet with our entire leadership team to talk some more about his topic and how we rethink the role of discipline and the nature of discipline in pre-K through 12. Wonderful, engaging speaker, and we're looking to learn very much from Dr. Ablon. It was a smooth start to the school year, although I will say in all my years in education, the first 2 weeks of school were probably the warmest I've ever experienced. And I want to thank you for your patience and understanding when I changed from a full day of school to a couple of half days of school in that first week. Dr. Clary and I went into some of the buildings, and particularly the upper floors, were just too warm. And by 10:30, quarter of 11, 11 o'clock in the morning, students were really beginning to show the signs of fatigue from the heat, and the staff also. This year, I'll be serving along with some members of the selectmen and public safety officials, the town manager, and chairman of our school committee, and one of our school nurses on a town and school safety task force. We are looking at developing a proposal to have the town fund and bring in a consulting firm to do a security audit of all of our buildings, not only schools but town-wide, so that we know what best practices are, and we'll continue to follow those in terms of keeping our students, keeping our residents as safe as possible. In October, I will be conducting a school calendar survey. This is sort of a test balloon to see how the staff and how you as community members view our current school calendar and what types of changes you may be interested in seeing to the school calendar in terms of possible reconfiguration of school vacation weeks, and a number of questions that we seek to have you answer on a survey, because we're always interested in your input. It's going to be an exciting year, a lot of initiatives. I'll be giving my goals to the school committee in another 2 weeks, and I look forward to seeing you again.